In the world of MotoGP, where fractions of a second separate triumph from disappointment, innovation has often been the defining edge. For decades, Yamaha's premier MotoGP machine, the Yamaha YZR M1, has been powered by a cross-plane inline-4 engine. That choice delivered iconic successes, helped forge legends, and carved Yamaha a distinct identity. But now, in a landscape where every rival has moved to a V4 configuration, Yamaha is making one of the boldest strategic shifts in recent memory. Enter the Yamaha YZR M1 V4, a prototype that symbolizes a new direction, fresh ambitions, and the reawakening of the Yamaha racing machine. For more than 2 decades the M1 has carried Yamaha's flag in MotoGP with its inline-4 configuration, an engine layout that delivered an incredibly low center of gravity, nimble handling, and delivered multiple world championships. Wikipedia. But as the sport evolved, tire technology, chassis dynamics, aerodynamics, electronics, all advanced significantly, and many rival manufacturers found that the V4 layout offered additional scope for performance gains, more instant power delivery, improved packaging flexibility, especially with aero and chassis integration, and better rear traction behavior out of corners. Yamaha's decision to pivot is driven by the fact that, despite the strengths of the inline-4, the platform had reached a developmental ceiling. As one analysis notes, Yamaha remains the only manufacturer in MotoGP still running an inline 4-cylinder engine. The concept had reached its limit. Motorsport +1. By switching to the V4, Yamaha aims to reclaim competitiveness by exploring a fresh architecture. As stated in Yamaha's official announcement, "We have taken on an ambitious project developing a new V4 engine and a whole new bike. Our goal is to return Yamaha to winning ways." Yamaha Motor Global Site. In short, the move is strategic, essential, and represents a paradigm shift for the team. The first major public reveal of the M1 V4 prototype occurred on September 12, 2025, at the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli paddock. Yamaha Motor Global Site +1 Yamaha brought out the new machine, painted in Yamaha's corporate blue livery, and announced that test rider Augusto Fernandez would run a wild card appearance that weekend. This would not be about instant triumphs, but about gathering data under full GP conditions. Yamaha Motor Global Site. Under the skin, the transition from i4 to V4 required a fundamental rethink: engine packaging, chassis layout, aerodynamics, exhaust routing, cooling, and overall mass balance. The new M1 represents a complete overhaul, with the shift forcing a fundamental redesign of its dimensions. Motorsport. The team emphasized that the aim now is learning, refining, evolving, not winning on day one. Project leader Kazuhiro Masuda reflected, "We are applying a comprehensive and disciplined approach, ensuring no aspect is overlooked." Yamaha Motor Global Site. Test rider and advisor Andrea Dovizioso weighed in positively. "From the moment I tried the V4 powered prototype I liked it straight away. With every run the feeling has improved, and I've always sensed great potential." Motorsport. That candid feedback signals that while the prototype is still formative, the mood within Yamaha is cautiously optimistic. While precise specifications remain confidential, several key areas emerge from public information and analysis. 1. Engine layout and packaging. Switching to a V4 configuration offers possibilities in terms of engine width, center of gravity positioning, exhaust routing, and mass centralization. These are critical for MotoGP where handling, agility, and aerodynamics are as vital as raw power. 2. Chassis and aero integration. Because the engine is such a core structural component in modern MotoGP bikes, changing its layout forces revisiting frame design, swing arm pivot geometry, cooling ducts, belly pan shapes, side pods, and fairing aerodynamics. One article notes that Yamaha's design of a coherent package, power delivery, chassis balance and aerodynamics tuned as a system is their focal point. Yamaha Motor Global Site +1. 3. Strategic timing relative to regulations. Yamaha's timing is crucial. With the looming regulation change in 2027, the move to 850 cubic centimeters machines, Yamaha sees the V4 prototype as a stepping stone. Cycle World writes. The new engine is originally intended for the 2027 850 cubic centimeters per 75 mm bore formula. But recently the development is advanced, Cycle World. This means Yamaha is hedging, they test and refine the V4 now, even though it may be superseded by regulation changes, because the data and technology transfer remain highly valuable. 4. Learning phase first. Yamaha emphasizes data, reliability, consistency, and development feedback. As the motorsport.com report states, the emphasis is not on performance benchmarks, but on operational learning under real-world GP conditions. Motorsport. This conservative yet ambitious stance is key. Yamaha knows they cannot risk a hasty deployment without ironing out weaknesses. A. Can Yamaha close the gap? Yamaha has had a challenging period in MotoGP, especially in terms of straight-line speed, traction, and overall package competitiveness. The move to V4 is a statement of intent. If the M1 V4 delivers the desired gains in traction, acceleration, and versatility, Yamaha could re-establish itself as a front-running force. B. The risk versus reward equation. Every major redesign carries risk. There are unknowns. How reliable is the new V4 under race stress? How quickly can Yamaha convert prototype progress into race results? How will riders adapt? As one forum commenter put it, it's not bad for an initial result, but those last few steps to get on par will be exponentially difficult. Reddit.com. Your review should highlight the tension between potential and immediate reality. This is a development story as much as a racing one. C. The time horizon. This is not a podium win story just yet. Yamaha expects the full deployment of the V4 platform for 2026, possibly even beyond, adjusting for the 2027 regulations. So for viewers, the takeaway is, this is next-level planning and investment, not an overnight fix. D. Rider adaptation and team feedback. Rider input will be critical. Yamaha has enlisted top test riders, Dovizioso, Fernandez, and is integrating feedback aggressively. The narrative should emphasize the human side, the engineers in Japan and Europe, the test riders, the track sessions behind closed doors, the wildcard entries. This makes the story richer and more engaging. Welcome back to the channel. Today we dive deep into one of the most significant developments in MotoGP in recent years, the unveiling of Yamaha's new V4-powered YZR M1 prototype, known informally as the M1 V4. For years Yamaha raced at the front under the banner of agility, finesse, and the crossplane inline-4 engine. But the competition moved on. The envelope was pushed. And now, Yamaha is turning the page. Let's talk about why this change matters. In MotoGP everything counts, the last tenth of a second out of the corner, the way a bike holds mid-corner stable yet wants to explode forward, the feel of the rear tire as you roll on the throttle. Yamaha's inline-4 M1 was brilliant in its time. But by 2024 it was showing cracks in comparison to rivals using V4 layouts, or even seeing their access to traction and top speed narrowed. So Yamaha made the decision. They opted to develop a completely new engine architecture, to redesign their MotoGP machine from the ground up. In September 2025 they pulled back the curtain at Misano. The new machine is visually similar to the M1 we've known, but look closer, and you'll spot the changes: different vent positions, revised side pods, a new exhaust layout, a chassis redesign around a different engine dimension. That's not just new bodywork. That's a new era. Test rider Augusto Fernandez took the machine out in a wildcard appearance. Yamaha emphasized it was not about winning, but learning. The early feedback from Andrea Dovizioso and the testing team has been encouraging. They say the bike felt good straight away, that the initial runs generated optimism. But, and this is key, they also repeatedly emphasize this is the beginning of a process, not the end. From a technical standpoint, the shift to a V4 gives Yamaha more flexibility. With a V configuration you can optimize the packaging differently. You can tuck the engine, route exhausts, manage heat and airflow in smarter ways. You can fine-tune mass centralization and chassis geometry without being locked into the old layout's compromises. These are the subtle gains that often decide races. What does this mean for you, the viewer, the MotoGP fan, the aspiring rider, the tech enthusiast? It means we are watching not just a bike, but a statement. Yamaha is telling the field, we are back at the table. They're telling their riders, we'll give you something you can fight with. But they're also telling themselves, we are prepared to take time, we are prepared to evolve, we are not chasing quick fixes. In assessing the M1 V4 prototype we look at several dimensions. 1. Power delivery and traction. While specific horsepower numbers haven't been published publicly, engineers believe the V4 layout should allow crisper throttle opening, better rear-wheel drive out of corners, and more usable mid-range torque. In MotoGP, it's seldom about raw top-end power alone, how you get on and off the gas, how the bike loads the tire, how the chassis responds, that's what decides races. Yamaha's shift to V4 suggests they believe the inline-4 cannot keep pace in those key areas. 2. Chassis and handling. The change in engine is not isolated, it requires a complete rethink of geometry, suspension pickups, swing arm flex, and even aerodynamics. From trackside commentary we know the new machine has revised side pods and ducts, moved vent locations, and a different exhaust exit position. A well-integrated aero and chassis package is essential in the current MotoGP world where every corner exit is an opportunity to gain or lose. Yamaha appear to be rebuilding the package holistically, not simply bolting a new engine in. 3. Development strategy and timeline. The most nuanced part of this story is the timeline. Yamaha acknowledges that while the V4 may debut commercially in 2026, the regulation shift to 850 cubic centimeters in 2027 looms over all manufacturers. That means the current 1000 cubic centimeters V4 program is as much about accumulating learning and data as about immediate victory. Some might ask, why invest now? Because the data, the engine architecture, the chassis architecture, the aerodynamics, they all transfer into future machines. Yamaha are buying their future pace now. 4. Risk management and expectations. This is where the story earns depth. Yamaha are not demanding themselves to win immediately, they're insisting on solid foundation first. That realism is important to highlight in a review. Because fans tend to expect instant wins when new machinery is shown, but motorsport seldom works that way. The comments from internal engineers reflect that, this is a high-stakes project, only when we have evidence will we commit to full deployment. Yamaha Motor Global site A fan forum pointed out. Those last few steps to get on par will be exponentially difficult, reddit.com. Being candid about this in your review gives it credibility. In summary, the M1 V4 isn't just a new bike, it is the marker of Yamaha's intent to play at the highest level again. For your channel and audience, this story has all the ingredients: legacy, engineering evolution, strategic gamble, human effort, future promise. As we move into 2026 and beyond, keep an eye on 1. How Yamaha's full factory riders adapt to the V4, and when they switch. 2. What performance metrics the team reveals: lap time improvements, sector gains, reliability. 3. How Yamaha's satellite teams respond, if they adopt the V4. 4. What rivals say: the tone of the paddock is always telling. 5. How the 2027 regulation change impacts the trajectory of this program. In the words of one Yamaha official, exploration is part of Yamaha's DNA. The V4-powered prototype opens an additional technical pathway. Yamaha Motor Global Site. And that is the story here, a pathway to a new era. So for riders, for fans, for tech enthusiasts, and especially for those of you who live for the sound of V-engine growls and cutbacks out of La Rocca in Misano, this is a moment to watch. The M1 V4 might not dominate tomorrow, but it's Yamaha's statement that their next chapter has begun. Stay tuned. Phase 1, 2025 to 26. Phase 2, 2027 and beyond.